Howdy, YouTube. This is Steven, and I ran across a really interesting article on the internet that I would like to share with you guys. All right, so the title of this article is Clarissa Explains It All. Nickelodeon series gets sequel novel 24 years later. And this article was written by Casey Mink, and it was published on HollywoodLife.com. All right, so when I first saw this title of the article, I was like, hey, let me check this out, right? Because I remember watching Clarissa Explains It All back in like the 90s, and I still like the show. And I was thinking, hey, this is kind of interesting. So I'll read the article and get my thoughts and opinions as I go. All right. This might be the day's best news. A whopping 24 years after Clarissa Explains It All premiered on Nickelodeon, we've now got a first look at the sequel novel, fittingly titled, quote unquote, Things I Can't Explain. All right, let's see. All right, so that's the title of the article, title of the book or the novel, Things I Can't Explain. All right. But yeah, it's been 24 years. Wow. Time sure does fly. All right. Next, you're obviously a fan of Clarissa Explains It All, the 90s era Nickelodeon series, which, well, totally explained it all. However, did you know that Melissa Joan Hart starring show was actually based on a book of the same name? Yeah, I didn't know that there's a book of the same name. I didn't know that Clarissa Explains It All was originally a book. I thought it was originally a television series. Well, it is. And it's our lucky day because the series author and creator of Clarissa, Mitchell Craigman, I think that's how you say it, has just given some exclusive details on his follow-up novel. Wow, I didn't know that Clarissa Explains It All was a novel at first. Wow. Let's see. Let's see. No, Melissa Joan Hart isn't returning to the role on television, though we wish. But the character is very much still alive. In the new novel, which will hit shelves on November 10th, 2015, we catch back up with Clarissa, who is now in her mid-20s in the present day. Though that timeline doesn't necessarily make logistical sense, Mitchell says readers will have no problem getting on board. But yeah, if you do the math, Clarissa is a lot older than 25, definitely. Clarissa's older than me. And but nevertheless, well, a lot older than me. But nevertheless, I think that's probably like the best time for them to put it in, really. Kind of like the mid-20s, because you're still trying to figure things out, By your 30s and 40s, you should kind of have things figured out. By your 30s, you probably do have most things figured out. And by your 40s, you're probably pretty much there. Your 50s, you got it, But, yeah. Let's see what else next in this article. Let's see. Quote unquote. The novel picks up Clarissa's life in her mid-20s because it's the most interesting moment to see where she's been and where she's going. He told Entertainment Weekly, quote unquote, it's why I say it's a reimagining of Clarissa. Things I Can't Explain resets her story from a new moment. So it's kind of like somewhat, yeah, it is a reimagining. Kind of like possibly sort of rewriting the storyline a bit to make it fit into now, kind of like nowadays. Let's see. Next, however, Mitchell does acknowledge that he is taking the creative liberty to make her age, to make her the age he wants to make her. Quote unquote. I know the pop culture freaks and math geeks out there will pull out their calculators and say Clarissa would be older, he said. Clarissa's, let's see. And that's true, Clarissa would be older. But, this is what you're getting, so take it or leave it, Next, though Mitchell claims that he still somewhat sees Clarissa as a 15-year-old, he insists that she is very much an adult in this new installation. Quote unquote, between years which Clarissa was pretty good at explaining are long gone, and she's entered the world of new issues that are pretty unexplainable. Hmm. So, she has like adult problems now instead of like kid problems back in the day. Let's see. Let's see. Quote unquote, those adult problems looked way simpler from a 14-year-old girl's perspective. I guess so. You know, let's see. Next, of course, with Clarissa coming back into our lives, we have to ask, what about Sam? Played on the television series by Sean O'Neill. Well, that's a good question. There's a lot of Sam in this book in ways that are pretty meaningful, Mitchell said. Quote unquote, I've been interested for a long time in what Sam was thinking all those years, and I think we'll finally get a deeper sense of that. Are you excited? Are you excited for things I can't explain? Casey Mink. And that's the end of the article, y'all. So basically, Clarissa will be, I guess not necessarily like a reboot, but if you are interested in a sequel, then this would be your best bet. There is a pilot that's floating around on YouTube or other parts of the internet of the show called Clarissa Now. That was the pilot that they were trying to do for the show. It's kind of like a continuation of the show. It'll be her going off to New York City to pursue a career in journalism through an internship. But the series wasn't picked up. But you can still see the pilot for the television series Clarissa Now if you just search it on YouTube. But I always felt like Sabrina Goes to College was the spiritual sequel to Clarissa Explains It All. I don't know why. I always felt that way. I guess because they both were interested in journalism, but I always felt that way. So I always kind of felt like, for me, that was my sequel, And just in general, I kind of felt like Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, was somewhat a sequel to Clarissa Explains It All, even though those stories don't have really much of a connection with each other. And yeah, but for some reason, I feel that way. Spiritually speaking, I feel like it was a sequel, But yeah, Melissa Joan Hart was on like two pretty good, pretty good popular shows, And I think, oh yeah, she's also on like a show on Lifetime called Melissa and Joey. So yeah, she was on two really good, awesome shows, y'all. And not a lot of people, not a lot of actors can say that they were on two hit shows, So kudos to Melissa Joan Hart for doing that. And she was going to go to college, like after Clarissa ended, and after the Clarissa Now didn't get picked up, but she was offered the role of Sabrina Sabrina the Teenage Witch. She was offered that role, so she skipped college and did that instead. Which, yeah, you made the right choice there. But yeah, I will most likely purchase this novel and see what it's about, and give it a read, and probably even give it a review. I'm interested in to see and read this novel. And it's a bit of a wait, but I guess it'll be something for me to look forward to, in November, around the Christmas time, And as far as the show is concerned in general, I'd say I guess I like more of the show when she's a bit older. Although I think all the show is nice, but I guess I like it when she's a bit older, as well as the whole cast is a bit older. Like her brother's a bit older, Sam's a bit older, she's older, her friends are old, and some of the topics they deal with are still, I can still kind of relate to even today, some of them. So I think I've said all I have to say for the time being, you guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Feel free to comment. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to give me a thumbs up. Your feedback and support are extremely appreciated and extremely valued. Until the next news article analysis, adios and goodbye for now.